This is Harsh Rules. I'm Ben Harsh, and today we're going to break down the rules for War of the Ring. War of the Ring was designed by Roberto Di Maglio, Marco Maggi, and Francesco Nepitello, and released by Eras Games. This game supports up to 4 players and takes from 2 to 3 hours to play. In this episode, we're going to break down the rules for Mount Doom. I initially didn't cover Mount Doom in the first 3 episodes because it seemed so straightforward. Regardless, several people have notified me that that is not the case and I should cover them. As a result, I've decided to release this 4th episode that will solely focus on this step of the Fellowship's journey. So let me draw your attention to Mordor in the lower right of the game board. Even as the Shadow Army scours Middle-earth searching for the Fellowship, the Dark Lord Sauron doesn't realize that the One Ring is literally under his eye in Mordor. And once the Fellowship passes into Mordor, the rules for the game change to represent the new challenge of ascending Mount Doom. Because if the Fellowship can reach the top of Mount Doom, they can cast the One Ring into the fires within and win the game. There are 2 ways for the Fellowship to enter Mordor: a gap in the northern perimeter in Morannon, and a second gateway to the west in Minas Morgul. If the Fellowship infiltrates Mordor from either of these 2 openings, they can begin the climb of Mount Doom. While Mount Doom appears to be situated in Golgoroth, the Fellowship does not actually need to enter this territory to begin the ascent. The climb to the top of the mountain is marked by 6 spaces. The first 5 are identified by Elvish numbers from 0 to 4. The last space is the Crack of Doom, which is the 5th step up the mountain. These spaces are known as the Mordor Track. When the Fellowship enters Mordor, they begin on space 0. The 2nd edition rules clean up an awkward transition from the 1st edition, where the Fellowship would reveal themselves and then need to be hidden again to proceed up the mountain. Now, once the Fellowship enters Mordor by either route, they merely declare they've reached the Mordor track and place their figure on space 0. The Fellowship can make this transition and remain hidden. For the Fellowship's climb of Mount Doom, there are special rules. Once the Free People's player decides to place the Fellowship on the Mordor track, 2 game mechanics are altered. First, the Fellowship progress counter is no longer advanced on the Fellowship track. However, the marker is still used to show whether the Fellowship is hidden or revealed. However, the corruption marker on this track will become the main focus of this stage in the Fellowship's journey. Second, the hunt pool is replenished. All eye tiles are placed back in the pool, along with any special tiles granted by event cards. However, do not place any tiles back in the pool which have been permanently removed from the game. The main difference with the Mordor track is when the Free People's player tries to advance the Fellowship, they do not roll the hunt dice. Instead, that player draws 1 tile from the hunt pool, resolves the effect as normal, except when the following occurs. First, if the tile shows an eye, the hunt damage inflicted is equal to the number of dice in the hunt box. This also includes Free People's dice used for moving the Fellowship during that turn. This rule makes it critical for the Free People's player to be very careful which companions are a member of the Fellowship when they begin the climb of Mount Doom. Let's take a closer look at this concept. Remember, the number of companions in the Fellowship is also the maximum number of eye dice the Shadow player can allocate to the hunt. The number of eye dice the Shadow player allocates is then added to the number of action dice the Free People's player spends to attempt to move the Fellowship up the mountain. And ultimately, this total number of dice is the amount of damage and potential corruption the Fellowship must absorb if an eye tile is drawn. Another important rule is that when the Fellowship begins to climb Mount Doom, companions can no longer be separated from the group. Any action that would separate a companion from the Fellowship immediately eliminates that companion. Therefore, if the Free People's player does not plan carefully and brings too many companions with the Fellowship, then later decides they want to reduce the membership of the Fellowship to prevent the Shadow player from allocating so many hunt dice, they can find themselves in quite the hot mess. Some players have dubious strategies revolving using companion members as shields for the ring bearers. While companions can be utilized in this fashion, I'm not sure this is the best overall strategy for playing the game. There is also a second Mount Doom rule to keep in mind when drawing tiles. Normally the Fellowship will move one step on the Mordor track unless a tile with a stop icon is drawn. The stop icon can be found in the lower right-hand corner of the red special tiles. When this occurs, the Fellowship does not move forward. Remember, these red special tiles are only added to the hunt pool by specific event cards when played by the Shadow. Also remember, even though the Fellowship is on the final track of the game, they're still vulnerable to enemy forces when seen. The Fellowship must always be hidden to move. If the Fellowship is revealed, the Free People's player must use a character action die to hide them again. Be aware, if at the end of the action resolution phase, the Free People's player has not attempted to move or hide the Fellowship on the Mordor track, the corruption marker is advanced by 1 on the Fellowship track. Utilizing these rules, the Fellowship will make their way up the mountain towards the Crack of Doom. If during this climb the Fellowship's corruption reaches 12, the Free People's player immediately loses the game. However, if the Fellowship can avoid becoming corrupted when they've climbed all 5 steps on the Mordor track, the Crack of Doom has been reached and the Free People's player wins the game. Hopefully this breakdown of the Mordor track clarifies the rules surrounding the Fellowship's climb of Mount Doom during the conclusion of the game. Also, be on the lookout in the near future for breakdowns on the expansions for War of the Ring from Era's games. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like and share with your friends. To be the first notified when the next episode of Harsh Rules becomes available, please hit the bell icon for notifications. And as always, this has been Harsh for Harsh Rules. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.